It's Platt, and today we try a tasty snack. That's next to Platt's Beer of the Week. So the particular beer we have here today is called Montucky's Cold Snack. Let's start off with the name real quick. Montucky's kind of a hybridized term between combining Montana and Kentucky. It's kind of a reference toward a kind of hillbilly nature maybe present in Montana. Actually, the term's kind of used here in Vegas. There's a suburb called Henderson out here that a lot of people refer to as Hindertucky because at one time it was a little further outside of town. When I first moved to town, that was kind of where I guess the more redneck crowd you would say lived. So that's behind Montucky. The term cold snack is actually a reference toward getting like a cold brew or whatever. I guess people in Montana refer to, hey, let's go have a cold snack. So thought that was interesting. Anyway, the beer is called Montucky Cold Snack. The company itself was founded in 2012 by two friends, Chad Zeitner and Jeremy Gregory. Their goal was actually to create a regional style beer for Montana. And when I say regional beer, I'm talking about like for a long time, Lone Star was the beer of Texas. You had Line and Kugel out of Wisconsin. You had Olympia up in Washington. Years ago, 40, 50 years ago, you still had national breweries like Anheuser-Busch, of course, but you had a lot of regional breweries. This was before the craft beer scene. You had your kind of local or regional brewery, and they wanted to create something for Montana. Now their take on this project was they weren't going to create any real exotic beers. They weren't going to create the newest, hippest IPA or whatever. They just wanted a light, refreshing beer, which if you think about it, kind of makes sense. Montana's in the Rocky Mountains. A lot of outdoor activities. If you're going to go hiking, you're not going to take a barley wine or an imperial stout with you. And just further down the Rockies is Colorado. And remember, their beer, Coors, was kind of a regional beer for a long time. It was not nationally distributed until, I believe, the 80s. So kind of in that same vein, that light, refreshing beer. That's what Montucky's gone after, the just classic light American lager that, again, is appropriate for days outdoors in a canoe, hiking, what have you. This particular beer is actually the only thing Montucky produces. They don't have a bock, an ale, what have you. Also, too, they don't actually have a brewery. This is a contract brew. They get their beer produced in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Actually, if you and a friend, let's say, want to start your own beer company, the contract brewing way might actually be the best way. Unless you're doing many styles of beer, let's just say you nailed the perfect, I don't know, amber ale, let's say. And that's all you wanted to produce is your amber ale. It's probably easier to go to a contract brewer, have them produce it for you. You don't have to build a brewery, get licensing, bonding, don't have to worry about zoning issues. That all gets done at the brewer. Now, obviously, you're going to pay for it, but in a roundabout way, simpler way, a perfect example of this is Samuel Adams. They quickly started selling beer. They couldn't keep up. They used a contract brewer. And they've used several contract brewers in the expansion of the company. So it's not and it doesn't necessarily mean that the beer's not quality. Obviously, that brewer in La Crosse, Wisconsin could be an absolutely great brewer. So thought that was interesting. So enough talking about Montucky. Let's try a little snack. So when I picked up this beer the other day and grabbed the big old can of beer, I got to think to myself, man, I just don't drink canned beers like I used to. And it got me down the whole path of cans versus bottles. So I thought to discuss that a little bit today, the pros and the cons. I know people that kind of go both ways. Cans are lighter, easier to carry, the standard 12-pack box, so the 12-pack bottle container's a little different. Also, you don't need a bottle opener. Some people say, though, that bottled beers keep the beer colder. You don't get any of that aluminum taste. Now, that might have been true 30 plus years ago, but the can lining technologies have advanced to the point where I don't think that's an issue anymore, but some people claim they can still taste it. Cans, one of the benefits of cans is they don't let exterior light in. If you ever drink beer from clear bottles or green bottles, because of that light they let in, the beer sometimes kind of skunks. Now, in the cases like Heineken, it's kind of on purpose, or that's kind of their style, but there's that. Cans are a little easier on the environment in the sense that there's less energy that goes into a production of a can. Luckily, both beer and cans are recyclable. Like I said, some people just love the taste of beer out of a bottle. They say that if they can't get draft, bottles the next thing, and the beers their last, or cans their last choice. One thing I will say about bottles is you could keep bottles and reuse in home brewing, where a can it just does nothing for the home brewer. To me, I think it's just more of a situational thing. Obviously, you're not going to take a bottle out by the pool or certain outdoor settings or wherever. Just not really practical. Cans are more practical for those. Obviously, if you're in a nice restaurant, you don't want to see a can of Bud Light or, Coors Light, what have you. If you go to a concert or stadium, I understand why no glass. You go to the can. So it's kind of an individual thing. To me, the portability of cans is just something you can't miss out on. Well, enough talking about cans of beer. Let's drink a can of beer. All right, plenty of carbonation. Nice, more than a finger's worth of really light colored head. Not much in the nose, just a little bit of malt. Let's give it a try. Well, if they're looking to hit a light American lager, they have done that. Not a lot of hops there, but there's not a lot of malt, or there's not much to this beer, so you didn't need a lot of hops to balance it. Just a nice, clean beer. I will say this is something, I would say it actually doesn't have enough, or even though it's technically not a light beer, to me it comes off lighter than your like Budweiser, your Coors Original. It's not watered down pee like some of your, natural light type beers go. I do get, aftertaste wise, it does give me a faint taste of a malt liquor. I mean, it's very faint at the end. I'm not sure the adjuncts in here. That may be what I'm tasting. That may be a more of a corn adjunct kind of thing. But I will say this to the guys: they've hit their mark. Again, this is something I could take a 12-pack case of, or wherever, if we're outside by the pool or doing whatever outside on a warm summer day. This is something even in the heat of Vegas I'd knock back in the summertime, no problem. The boys hit their mark. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to try, just leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Well, until next time, bottoms up.